created glasses, shot glasses and drink glasses, the t-shirts. Everybody does t-shirts. How many of you do t-shirts? Really? That's all? Do more t-shirts. She did a website, and for those of you who have pickup trucks and carry rifles in the back of your trucks, these are bumper stickers for San Ernesto. This is an Abyssinian, based on the Abyssinian cross. There is a church in New York City, in Harlem, called the Abyssinian Baptist Church. And it is one of the most famous black churches in the United States. It is the hotbed of culture and politics, because at least one important congressman came who was a reverend in this church. They needed a new design. People were falling away from the church, and one of our students, Bobby Martin, who is now the creative director of Nokia in London, decided he was going to change their lives for them. And we felt this was entrepreneurial. He was going to sell them, basically, and in this case sell them for $1, a whole new identity, and base it, in this case, on the Abyssinian cross, and develop a whole product line that would bring in more revenue into the church. Well, the church fathers said, you know, we're already having something done, but we're not that happy with it. Go ahead and let us see it. It wasn't like he was undercutting the person who was doing it. He was just doing it on his own, entrepreneurially. Ultimately, he showed it to them, and he got the job. But what was most important, and here's the stationery that he did, ties and handkerchiefs. But the most important thing that he created was a poster campaign, a billboard campaign, which was funded by a company in the United States, a paper company called SAPI. And they have this program called SAPI Ideas That Matter, and it's international, actually. So if you have a social entrepreneurial project that you're working with, either a cultural or a health organization or any other kind of social outreach organization, go on their website and check out the international side, because they give out about $1 million a year in grant money to selected projects. So he created this billboard, and the billboard was using special words that would relate to the church and the community. And as you can see, they're very simple words. Keep the faith. And as the program progressed, the words got longer into a sentence. More and more people were seen in the posters. And ultimately, it became a real demonstration that ended up at the Abyssinian Baptist Church, where Secretary of State Hillary Clinton spoke against the backdrop of Bobby Martin's designs. This is another campaign. This was done by a student named Amy Wang. She came from Harvard. She didn't even have a graphic design background, but she wanted graphic design and really disappointed her parents a great deal. Her parents were from China, Taiwan, and they wanted her to be a chemical engineer, which is what she studied at Harvard, but she wanted to be a graphic designer. She felt that it was really a crime that the United States is only one of 3 countries in the world that does not use the metric system. The only thing I know metric is liter, and that's because Coca-Cola gives you a liter bottle because it sounds better. But we have no idea how to measure in metrics. So she decided to come up with a metrica. And a metrica was going to be a campaign for the general public that would translate inches and the like into metrics. So in this case, the model Fabio is 191 centimeters. I don't even know what a centimeter is. I think it has a lot of feet, right? And Mark Wahlberg, Marky Mark, is 170 centimeters. And so you could put yourself against this billboard and see how tall you are. Or you can carry this bag home from the grocery and see that it's 2 kilos. Or you can ride in a New York City taxi cab and see that he's going 12 kilometers an hour, which is actually under the usual rate for a New York City cab. Or if you like, and you're on the highway, you can see how long yours is. Another student decided she loved chocolate. That's an okay thing to love. And she wanted to create like a chocolate of the month club, so that people would sign up and they'd get great chocolates every month, different chocolates. There are lots of clubs like that in the US, fruit clubs and meat clubs and all that. But it really takes a big infrastructure, it takes a lot of money to do, you have to have fulfillment. So it wasn't realistic, and we kept telling her that over and over and over again. And finally she decided, you know, I could do a website that talks about chocolate and show everything that she was going to give to people through subscription, and people would have much easier access. So she created this website, which is up now, called Cravings. She'd worked in an advertising agency, and she quit to devote herself full-time to Cravings. And as Cravings developed, she started events and classes that would bring in a revenue stream. She sends out her Cravings newsletter once a month, I think, and it really shows a whole range of food experience. And in New York, particularly since it's a baby boom town, as the baby boomers get older and older and sex becomes a thing of the past, food has really taken over. And she actually interviews designers who do food packaging and architects who do restaurants and the like. So it's become a very successful venture in the realm of the foodie. This is an interesting piece. This was done by a Finnish student named Suniva. Suniva was born with a malformed hand. And what she wanted to do was to create cutlery that would help people like her and her eat better and also feel proud to use this kind of machinery. So she designed this fork and a knife and a spoon with a silversmith. It would have been a very expensive, high-end item, but she realized that there would be a market for that, small though it may be. And then she created a lower-end version of it using X-Acto technology, where you just refit the various parts together. She created, after that, her mother was a ceramicist, so she employed her mother to do prototypes of cups and saucers and plates for people with challenged and limited muscle use, including this plate, which was very clear would help her use one of her hands to hold the plate and the other hand to manipulate the food. She did her packaging, which was a necessary part of the whole thing, and she ultimately did a website as well, and she's beginning to get funding for this so she can put it into production. Obviously, not every student can get funding right away. Obviously, not every product is marketable right away, even though they've gone to the distance. This is one of our students who also worked in the challenged area, physically challenged area. She created a series of aids, of dressing aids, using industrial design. We do have an industrial design teacher who helped her. And she went out to other vendors. And this helps you button your shirt. This helps you put on your socks. This helps you put on your shoes, I think. And this is for fastening your shoes, so that you don't have to use shoelaces if you cannot manipulate that. And she named them all after birds, but I forget why. We also have a student from another country called California. And what do people do in California? They surf. And this student, who was very bright, decided he wanted to save surfing beaches. And one way to do it from a social entrepreneur standpoint was to create board shorts and other accoutrements that surfers would wear that get them to go onto a website where they can donate a certain amount of money. Part of the money goes to making the clothing, and the other part of the money goes to the specific beach that they're interested in. And there's a limited number of beaches. So using Google Map technology, he was able to interface with that and create these shorts and other things using the maps of the regions that the buyer would want to be involved in. He created the website. He created packaging, and it's not overly designed or branded packaging. And he created logos, the little ovals there, or whatever they're called, pear-shaped things, are like the kind of stuff you would have on Google Maps. Now, the second to last thing I'm going to show you, or the penultimate thing, I'm going to actually take you through a little bit of the